Here are the top stories for today, March 21, 2022. A first big-time oil price rollback this year is set to be implemented tomorrow. Malacanang assured that the distribution of the government's fuel subsidy shall not be hampered amid the expected oil price rollback. The Labor Department insists overtime pay must still be upheld even amid the 4-day workweek scheme. And the country remains at a very low-risk classification for COVID-19. Good day, I am William Theo. Welcome to the PNA Newsroom. A first big-time oil price rollback this year is set to be implemented tomorrow after the unabated series of oil price hikes. Oil companies including Sea Oil, Caltex, Philippine Shell, Petrogas, and Total announced their cut effective 6 in the morning on Tuesday. The highest cut is set on diesel amounting to 11 pesos and 45 centavos per liter. Moreover, gasoline prices will drop by 5.45 pesos per liter, while kerosene will be cut by 8 pesos and 55 centavos per liter. This is the first major oil price rollback after the 11th increase in fuel prices this quarter. The palace assured that the distribution of the government's fuel subsidy shall not be hampered amid the expected oil price rollback. Acting Presidential Spokesperson and Communications Secretary Martin Andanar said the rollout of subsidies for affected farmers and fishermen has already started last March 17 and its distribution will continue. He added that more than 87,000 jeepney drivers have received their aid amounting to 6,500 pesos each. Last week, the Land Transportation Franchising and Regulatory Board, or LTFRB, said public utility vehicle beneficiaries who are existing cardholders have been prioritized in the said rollout. Meanwhile, completion of card distributions for the newly added beneficiaries is targeted this week. Energy Undersecretary Gerardo Erguisa Jr. said they are hoping for the best as prices of petroleum products are set to ease tomorrow. In the Laging Handa public briefing, Erguisa said the fuel price rollback provides a temporary relief among consumers, but the trend is not yet final. He mentioned that Russia and Ukraine are still on their negotiating table, which significantly affects the global crude price. The Energy Department then explained that several factors have contributed to the rollback, including the lowered oil price in Dubai and the drop in demand due to the ongoing lockdown in China caused by an Omicron outbreak.
Bumagsak yung 5 days last week at nung in-average nga, nakuha itong pagbaba ng presyo. So, nagiging medyo maluwag sa merkado, kaya sana this coming week we hope for the best. Last week, medyo naging maganda ang ugnayan ng Russia at ng mga ibang bansa para masolve itong sa Ukraine. At naging maganda last week, although balita nga natin na medyo wala pang nangyayari. So we do not know how this will affect now this coming week, yung presyo ng crudo.
The Department of Labor and Employment, or DOLE, insisted overtime pay must still be upheld even amid the 4-day workweek scheme. DOLE Undersecretary Benjo Benavides said employers may opt to compress the working days from 5 or 6 days to only 4 days as long as the employee will still be able to complete the necessary 48 hours. He added the employees may waive their overtime pay, but this should be under the mutual understanding of both parties.
Generally po, kailangan po talaga magbayad ng overtime pay kasi in excess po yun. Napakalinaw po ng provision po ng labor code. Anong man pong oras na sosobra sa 8 oras ay overtime. Meron ng mga rehiyon, kung hindi po ako nagkakamali, 6 na rehiyon kung saan nakasampan na yung mga petisyon for wage increase. Hindi po ako makakapagbigay ng eksaktong period kung kailan po makakapaglabas ng desisyon ang mga boards. Kasi ito po ay kailangang iproseso ng naayon po sa kanilang itinatakdang rules and regulation. Magpapatawag po ito ng hearing, magpapatawag po ito ng public consultation.
The Civil Service Commission, or CSC, also supports the 4-day work week scheme in government offices. Commissioner Eileen Lizada said government offices may implement the available work arrangements such as 4-day compressed work week, work from home, skeleton workforce, or flexible working hours. Lizada, meanwhile, reminds government agency heads to consider the mental health and wellness of employees who will have to endure longer work hours.
Dito nakalagay ang alternative work arrangements na 5. Ang isa po dyan ay ang ating 4-day compressed work week. So matagal na hong may 4-day compressed work week since 2020 po at ang validity ho nito ay hanggang sa declaration po ng public state of emergency which will end sometime on September 10, 2022.
And in our business news, some 16,000 riders from 4 last-mile delivery service platforms are qualified to receive fuel subsidy provided by the government to ease the impact of soaring oil prices. Trade Undersecretary Ireneo Vismontes said the agency has submitted the list of accredited delivery riders qualified for fuel subsidy to the Land Transportation Franchising and Regulatory Board. Public utility vehicle drivers are getting 6,500 pesos credited to their Pantawid Pasada cards. The LTFRB earlier said delivery riders may be getting subsidies lower than 6,500. The government has allocated 2.5 billion pesos for fuel subsidies this year once global oil prices hit an average of $80 per barrel for 3 straight months. Still to come, the Philippines remains at very low risk of COVID-19 despite the surge of cases in East Asia. And a health expert reiterates the importance of wearing masks to prevent the spread of COVID-19. Details ahead. Keep it here on the PNA Newsroom. The COVID-19 pandemic has greatly changed our lives for the worse. Lives and jobs were lost and economies reached a meltdown. Thanks to the arrival of safe and effective vaccines, we are one step closer to normalcy. It's time to do our part, get vaccinated for our safety and for our recovery.
If you are there in that community, go there and have yourself vaccinated by any of the vaccines available. They are all potent, they are all effective.
I would like to appeal to all our kababayans, please get vaccinated against COVID-19 and be the government partner in preventing further spread of the disease. I encourage you to get vaccinated as soon as possible time. These vaccines are safe and they are the key to reopening our society. The need for international solidarity and cooperation cannot be made clearer than this pandemic because everyone is safe. No one is safe globally until everybody is safe.
Vaccines work. The Philippines remained at a very low-risk classification despite the surge of COVID-19 cases in East Asia. According to Octa Research Group, the country posted a 0.47% average daily attack rate, or ADAR, with a negative 22% growth rate. Despite the low-risk classification, protocols including wearing a face mask and proper physical distancing are not yet lifted to ensure safety against COVID-19. Meanwhile, South Korea has the highest ADAR at 788.15 with a growth rate of 42%. Vietnam followed SOCOR with more than 281 ADAR with 38% growth. At least 1.8 million individuals were vaccinated against COVID-19 during the 4th leg of the Bayanihan Bakunahan. National Vaccination Operations Center co-lead Dr. Crecia Lorraine Rosario said over 255,000 of the number were children and more than 90,000 were senior citizens. Rosario said vaccination drives should be more convenient and accessible to the elderly population, prioritizing them in the fourth round of the national vaccination days. Meanwhile, she insisted that information dissemination must still be ramped up as the vaccine hesitancy remains a challenge.
So ito po yung goal natin, really to educate and to advocate on the vaccination. Most likely, before the end of the month, may special vaccination days gagawin sa Cebu Province kasi ang Cebu Province yung pinakamataas na with unvaccinated na province. We are also looking at the areas in Mindanao, specifically Lanao del Sur, the BARM areas, lahat ng probinsya ng BARM, and also certain provinces in Region 12. So ito yung tutukan natin kasi most likely dito pa yung mga large populations na hindi pa nababakunahan.
The government also ensures the safety of the persons deprived of liberty against the dreaded COVID-19 disease. To date, at least 98% of those in the jail facilities have already been vaccinated. This is equivalent to 119,175 vaccinated PDLs out of the 129,283. 6.5% of them are waiting for their second dose, while 4.81% or 6,215 are unvaccinated. The Bureau of Jail Management and Penology, or BJMP, said it is currently in talks with the local government units for the allocation of more COVID-19 vaccines for the inmates. BJMP spokesperson Chief Inspector Xavier Solda said they are targeting the completion of their vaccination drive as soon as possible. One of the country's health experts said the continuous wearing of face masks has contributed to the downward trend of COVID-19 cases in the Philippines. DOH Technical Advisory Group member Dr. Edsel Salvania said nothing beats the wearing of a face mask for protection, especially when in public areas. He also stressed the importance of vaccination against COVID-19 as it provides up to 90% protection from COVID-19 mortality. He added that the public should not be complacent as a spike in cases remains a huge possibility.
Sa ngayon, dahil sa tumataas naman yung level ng ating vaccination, nagiging sapat naman po yung protection, lalong-lalo na patuloy ang paggamit ng tao ng mga mask. At sa ngayon, itutuloy pa rin natin yung pre-departure testing, lalong-lalo na dun sa places na maraming kaso para mabawasan yung risk na may makapasok dito na merong COVID.
Two-thirds of the police personnel availed of their COVID-19 booster jabs, according to the Philippine National Police, or PNP. In PNP's COVID-19 tracker, 66.50% of the police force, or more than 147,000 out of the 221,990, have been inoculated with COVID-19 booster jabs, while 2,043 are waiting for their second dose shots. Meanwhile, 635 or 0.28% of the police personnel are still unvaccinated. Overall, the PNP has already vaccinated more than 98% of its police force. Up next, Morocco and Canada announce openings for Filipino workers. And the Philippine Army spreads the message of peace through music on its 125th anniversary. We're back after a quick break. Stay with the PNA Newsroom. And here's your chance to work abroad. Morocco is looking for at least 100 Filipino nurses who will work in 2 clinics in the city of Marrakesh. Interested nurses must have level B French language proficiency and 2 to 3 years of experience to qualify for the job. The Philippine Overseas Labor Office in the capital city of Rabat has sent 2 memos requesting the Philippine Overseas Employment Administration to allot slots for the North African state. At least 4,600 Filipinos are working in Morocco, with majority employed in beauty centers or households. Meanwhile, more employment opportunities will also be available to Filipino workers soon in Yukon, Canada. The Department of Labor and Employment, or DOLE, formally signed a labor cooperation agreement with the government of Yukon. The government aims to facilitate the deployment of Filipino workers to fill critical vacancies unoccupied by Canadians or permanent residents. There are approximately 5,000 Filipinos in Yukon, and most of them have already become permanent residents or Canadian citizens. In Aurora Province, 74 former members of the Communist Party of the Philippines New People's Army left the terror group and rejoined the fold of the law. The former rebels pledged allegiance to the national government before the Regional Task Force to End Local Communist Armed Conflict at Barangay Dinadyawan in Dipakulaw Town. National Intelligence Coordinating Agency Regional Director Maria Luisa de Guzman urged the former rebels to take part in the government's peace-building initiatives. Retired Army Major General Abraham Claro Casis from the Office of the Presidential Advisor on Peace, Reconciliation, and Unity pledged to help in the development of the community to combat efforts of insurgency. Meanwhile, Lieutenant Colonel Julito Recto asked the former rebels to give importance to the government support and programs that could help change their lives. The local government units of Davao Oriental and Negros Occidental were awarded for their contributions to the administration's intensified campaign against illegal drugs. Davao Oriental received the Gold Award in the Davao Region Anti-Drug Abuse Council Performance Awards last week. The province has been a consistent gold awardee since 2017 due to its successful programs. These include the region's first provincial government-run drug reformation center and the mobilization of communities and partners from barangay-level anti-illegal drug efforts. Likewise, Negros Occidental was also awarded in the 2021 National Anti-Drug Abuse Council Performance Award on Thursday. Moreover, 321 out of 601 barangays in Negros Occidental were declared drug-cleared as of March 18. Music unites people as one to pursue a just cause, which is what the Philippine Army tapped in its campaign for peace and unity in the country. Music lovers gathered as the Philippine Army launched its United in Music One for Peace concert in Fort Bonifacio last Friday. Philippine Army Commander Lieutenant General Romeo Bronner Jr., actor and Army Reservist 2nd Lieutenant Mateo Gudicelli, and other distinguished guests led the lighting of the peace torch made out of decommissioned weapons. Moreover, Philippine Army spokesperson Colonel Cerces Trinidad said that music is not only a unifying factor among Filipinos, but also a good medium to make their efforts known, especially in achieving a just and lasting peace. Meanwhile, preparations are all set for tomorrow's celebration of their 125th anniversary. In Lanao del Sur, government troops taught residents of Piapago town how to read as part of efforts to prevent the spread of the influence of terrorists. Claire Gighe has the story.
Aiming to break up the DOLE Islamia group in their area of jurisdiction, the 51st Infantry Battalion advocated for literacy among residents, especially in the municipality of Piagapo in the province of Lanao del Sur, through the implementation of the Alternative Learning System, or ALS. Battalion Commanding Officer Lieutenant Colonel Fernando Payapaya shared that this initiative is connected to their enhanced education program that aims to instill sufficient knowledge among residents of target communities with focus on eradicating their most commonly encountered challenge in communicating with locals, the language barrier.
Nabuo ito dahil sa nakakanda kami ng community information drive. Malapit na ako matapos. Naisipan ko magtanong, sino nakakaintindi sa sinasabi ko? Walang nagtaas ng kamay. Medyo nadismaya ako doon. Pagkandak ng alternative learning system, siguro, makaintindihan kami.
Payapaya cited that this contributed significantly in convincing the citizens to not be persuaded to join the terrorist group. And it is good that they are supported with other line agencies and private organizations which also push for effort complementing theirs, such as the recent community outreach program in Barangay Gakap, which was in partnership with the provincial government, 103rd Infantry Haribon Brigade, Innerville Club Lanao del Norte, Kiwanis International, Ronald McDonald's House Charities Incorporated, Jollibee Iligan City, and Fiat Macarambon.
Malaking tulong yan. Mostly kasi sa mga nag-surrender sa amin ay walang grado. Madaling mahikayat sa mga recruitment strategy ng DIMG. Pero sa ginagawa natin, may kayat natin yung mga kabataan na hindi sila magpadala sa recruitment strategy.
ALS learners then conveyed gratefulness, saying that they were indeed aided in terms of leveling up the literacy in their area despite their status in life.
Nagpapasalamat po ako sa lahat ng buo ng ALS. Dahil po sa kanila, kahit may mga anak na po kami, nabigyan po kami ng pag-asang mag-aral muli. Napatigil po dahil napangasawa ng maaga. Pero hindi po yung naging hadlang dahil sa ALS.
Currently, at least 310 students continue their studies through the battalion's ALS. For PNA Newsroom, Claire Gigha of the Philippine Information Agency, Lanao del Sur.
Let's take another look at today's biggest stories. Our first big-time oil price rollback this year is set to be implemented tomorrow. Malacanang assured that the distribution of the government's fuel subsidy shall not be hampered amid the expected oil price rollback. The Labor Department insists overtime pay must still be upheld even amid the 4-day workweek scheme. And the country remains at a very low-risk classification for COVID-19. As Filipinos, we all have a vital role to play in preventing the spread of COVID-19. So remember, wear your face masks and face shields, wash your hands often, practice safe physical distancing, go out only for essential reasons, and get vaccinated as soon as possible to protect ourselves, our families, and the community. Together, we can beat COVID-19. Thank you for watching yet another episode of the PNA Newsroom. For more news content, check our webpage or log on to the Philippine News Agency's Facebook and Twitter accounts. For more stories about the government and how it serves Filipinos, look for these hashtags in all of our social media platforms and websites. We are shown on the pages of the PCOO and its attached agencies. Also watch us on television on PTV4 and IBC 13. And that's your daily dose of the biggest stories that you need to know from the PNA Newsroom. We tell stories that inspire change. I am William Theo. Good day.